Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Richard Mugica, and I am the founder of the Onward Men Podcast, a podcast built for men who want to go to the next level in income and impact and also fulfill your God-given purpose. And today's a little bit different, gentlemen. I had the pleasure of interviewing Clay Smeltzer, an awesome man that has had an awesome story. And what we did is we interviewed Clay on what it takes to be a man and to move forward and to never give up and to never give in. And I think you're going to find his story fascinating. He's a great guy. And as we dive into the content, I asked him a few questions about manhood and what it really means to persevere as a man. He's been through quite an emotional story, ups and downs in his life, as every man does. And like I always say, gentlemen, that a great man is never found. A great man is developed through endurance and adversity. And Clay is a great man, and he has gone through a lot of adversity. Even one point in his life, he talks about struggling with anxiety and having anxiety attacks, something that I know a lot of men struggle with as well, and how he was able to overcome it, how he was able to persevere. So without further ado, gentlemen, I want to introduce Clay to you. We're going to start this podcast right now, this interview right now. But before I do, I just want to let you know that if you do want to scale your income by 10x, scale your impact by 10x, and discover your God-given purpose, make sure to go to richardmugica.com/man up, and you can get some information there. With that being said, gentlemen, it's extreme ownership time. It's time to dive into the interview with Clay. I hope you enjoy, and we are out. Hey, Clay, thanks for coming on the Onward Men Podcast, man. This is awesome, and I know as we were just talking before this episode, you got quite a story, man. And I'd love to just, for the audience, just to know, hey, who is Clay, man? And if you could give us a little background on your story, that would be awesome.
Hey, that works for me. Appreciate you having me on here. I listen to your stuff, and it's just something that I feel is important to build men, and what you're doing is something important. Here's who I am. I'm just a regular dude that kind of went through life, and life jumped up and drop kicked me in the face a bunch of times. But in my mentality, I'm just relentless, and I will not give up, and I will get back up. And it started, growing up in Pennsylvania. I was a younger brother. I grew up in the woods, and I tried to be the cool and fit in the club with my older brother. And I don't know if I ever made the club, but, I gave it a good shot. But, then going through school with dyslexia, I struggled. I didn't know I had it. And then I overcame that, being an athlete and challenges of going to play in college. And then it ended my career, and I was a catcher, and I broke my thumb in 3 places. And, obviously I couldn't catch anymore. And then that dream died from chasing the major leagues, and then going into I got sick for a year with appendicitis stuff. I got my bachelor's, my master's. I went to teaching. In that time, I've been divorced twice. I've been to a point, or married 3 times. I've been to the point where I was almost homeless, living under $1,000 a month, working 2 jobs, one at teaching, one at a bar. Going through my master's program, trying to finish that up in educational leadership, and just over and over again, life just sitting there going smack you in the face. And some of that time, it was the why me, and I'm glad I had strong men around me to sit there and tell me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear, because that made all the difference. Instead of saying why me, I started to say why not me, and bring it on life. So that's kind of my journey, and because of the struggles, now I have things that I didn't think I had. I'm sitting in my basement of a house I never thought I was going to have, living under $1,000 a month.
Wow.
I'm married to a beautiful, awesome woman that loves me for me, and I love her for her, and there's no outside stuff and that influences that. It's just strictly we love each other, and it's awesome. We have 3 awesome kids that 2 are mine, one's my stepdaughter, but you would never know.
Wow.
Whether or not they are. So just the blessings in life that you go, when you get yourself right, you own you, and every day you wake up, you write another page of your story, and you don't let anybody else write on that page but you.
Wow. That's awesome, Clay. And you have a fascinating story, man. And One thing that I'm pretty curious about, because there's a lot of men out there, right? And one thing that is always
Mhm.
constant is there's going to be struggles, right? There's going to be hard times. There's going to be things coming in your life that you're not going to like as a man.
That's for
And
sure.
one thing I'm fascinated about your story is that, dude, you took so many life punches, right? I mean, starting from schooling, divorce, dreams being crushed, living on $1,000 a month. I mean, how as a man do you get beyond that? Because I know you talked about other men in your life that was powerful for you, but there's so many
Hmm.
guys that they crack underneath that, right? They fall into depression, they get into these low
Right.
points, and a lot of them just they find themselves staying there. They find themselves just being stuck there. What was it for you that, like, you were able to turn that around, man, and use it as motivation? I mean, what is that source of fuel, I guess, is the question.
Well, I think one, it is I learned a lot on the field, and I used that motivation to what I learned on the field and how I chased after that. I chased after life the same way, but I
Mm,
also had good men around me, and well, with saying that too, like I got to some of those points. Like my anxiety at 2 points in my life, I allowed it to take over.
mm.
I used to say like, "Hey, it got the best of me," but no, I let it get the best of me, and
Have you ever
so
had panic attacks?
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Like
Okay.
I freaked out. I freaked out because I was watching Game of Thrones and they ran through the tree or that tree and the zombie stuff, and I totally freaked out and had a panic attack right there. But
Wow.
when I look back at it and I look at where I was in my life and I look at those things, it's because I felt like I was stuck. Now I love the things that were going on. Things were going on, but me personally, that inner drive of a man that says, I want to be better. There's
Mm,
something more. There's something bigger. There's something better. Go get
mm,
better. Go after the chase.
mm.
I wasn't necessarily doing it at that time, and I felt stuck.
Wow.
So that overtaking of all these things, that's really what I was feeling inside. So that's why I kind of had a panic attack, when that.
Wow.
But then it's coming back and owning that and being like, hey, that yes, I deal with anxiety. I live with things anxiety. That's mine. I own it, and it's there actually for a good reason to
Mm.
protect me. But sometimes it just comes on. It's like I got at that. You know what I mean? At times I don't need it, but I got to recognize, hey, it is a good thing that allows me to move forward in life. But
Wow.
so but like men in my life, like my dad was my coach, and he always said, and I did a video last night about just it was go time, man. I went to the gym, I had 40 minutes, it was go time.
Yeah.
And my dad always said, when you step across this line, he said, when you step across this line, it's go time. You get it out there and you go do it. And I'm like, that was kind of my mentality, it's
Wow.
go time, and, yeah, things suck in life, man. Life drop kicks you in the face and it's like, this stinks, but I could tuck my tail between my legs and go cry in a corner, or I could get my
Wow.
butt back up and I could kick it back in the face and say, listen, bring it on. What do you got? Bring it to me, because if
Wow.
somebody's going to go through it, why not me? So I can help somebody else who's going through the same stuff that either I went through. So
I love that, man. So it really sounds like you just took that source of pain and used it as motivation to carry through, which is
absolutely.
powerful. And I got a question. So if you were, there obviously our audience is men. There's men listening to this. What is the best piece of advice that you personally feel like you've been given as a man?
Um, Man, there's a lot. I think really honestly, I was challenged at 28 years old to go look in the mirror and tell myself I love me.
Oh,
And that's when the guy I respect very much said, I'm like, that's the stupidest thing. Like that's just dumb. Like, I'll go say. But 2 days later, I tried it and I couldn't do it. And I remember standing
wow.
over top of that sink with tears just streaming down my face because one, I couldn't say three words, I love you. I couldn't say it. And just I felt ashamed at first, and then I was pissed. And that being mad that I couldn't do that
Wow.
motivated me to change, to do better, to look at, and that's really kind of what started this whole entire journey to where at
Wow.
36 years old, I know me. Like this is my story because nobody else writes it. This is mine, and I own
Wow.
me. And one of my jobs is, and my purpose is to go help other people love their story, own themselves, and go live a life they want and deserve. And you
Man.
looking in the mirror and owning yourself and saying, I love you, that's probably one of the best pieces of advice or the best challenge I was ever challenged to do.
Wow. That's powerful, man.
It's tough, man. I was like, I couldn't believe I couldn't do it. I'm like, it's the easiest thing. It sounds like it, but when you really get real with you and real with the person in the mirror, dude, it comes down all to that of you got to own your crap and you got to know the good, the bad, all the stuff, you know?
Jeez. I 100% agree, Clay. I think that's fantastic advice, man. And what would you say to a man that in 2019, and you know, one of the words that I always use on my channel over and over again is dominate. I love that word dominate. You know, whether it's dominating your finances, your health, just dominating each and every day. What would you say a man needs to do to just dominate his days, man? What's your advice there?
Well, I said this to Chip when I talked with him, and it really comes down to you got to dominate you. Like that's where it comes first. Like I can set all the financial goals I want. I could set all the goals that, you know, do this, accomplish this, accomplish this, accomplish this. None of it matters if you can't accomplish you and you can't dominate yourself, because the inner peace, the inner peace, all the other stuff will come when you get you right. And when you can look there and you say, hey, here's my story. I am where I am today because of the choices that I made, period. Me. And I own me. Wow. And the rest of my story will be what it needs to be because I will write it and nobody else.
Oh, man. I'm fired up. And you know what? I love how you said that, because I have one of my best mentors. He's my boss right now. His name is Bedros. And he always says that. He says, somewhere in life, people give the pen away to their own story, and they let other people write the pages of their life. And he said, it's your obligation to take that pen back and start writing the next chapters of your life. And
this is why I wear this with pride, because I took that back. You know, I used to give it away sometimes, but I realized nobody writes it on but me. You know, nobody.
Nothing gets better until you get better.
Absolutely.
That's powerful, Clay. Well, hey, man, I think this was great. You know, I really appreciate you sharing your story and some great tips for the audience. Anything that you want to end on your end?
Man, just here's what I tell all the men. We need to be the example for all of our young boys that are growing up, so they can not grow up into adult boys, but can grow up into adult men. But we also need to be the example for every young lady out there and everybody that we have, our children, and the example around that shows what a real man, a man of honor is. And that's important. And in order to do that, you need to go own you. You need to go love your story, and you need to go after it and go live the life that you want and deserve to live. And every day wake up and write a new page that's yours.
Boom. Boom. Love it, Clay. Awesome, man. And what's the best place anybody wants to follow your content? Are you on Instagram, or you got Facebook, or?
Yep. I'm on Instagram, Clay Smeltzer. I'm on Facebook, Clay Smeltzer, www.ocinspiration.com is my site. I have, you know, you can go to Amazon, search me up, my book. And if you want to see some more of my story, it's in the book, go pick it up. But those different places you can follow, and ask any question that you want. And I'm an open book. So
sweet.
Whatever you want, I'm cool.
There you go. All right, Clay, man. Well, hey, we appreciate it. And thanks for the great content.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
All right. Hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed the interview with Clay Smeltzer. What an awesome guy. I want you to move forward today. I want you to move with a clear path, a clear direction, always dominate, never, never back down. And if you want to scale your income by 10x, scale your impact by 10x, and fulfill your God-given purpose, make sure to go to richardmugica.com/man up. We're out.